Well, this is still back in the day that I was just a hobbyist, you know, and I was building something. And that is probably, I would say I was already into about like, into the woodworking about 25 years at that point. And I was trying to build quite a few of chopping board that has laminated strips, narrow strips together, you know. So I was kind of following a plan, you know, written by someone else, and what I find out is they are asking you to build to start with a piece of wood that is, I think it's about 6.5 inch wide. Then you get your narrow strip on the offcut side of the blade. Then I did do it, following the instructions, but every time when the board get down to about 4 inches wide, then I can't cut it anymore, because the only thing is available in those days that you can make those cut is a regular push block, and that you're going to require that kind of space in between the fence and the blades, you know, to make that cut. So they always ask you do that on the offcut side. Then after I'm making about 10 of those cutting boards, I have a whole bunch of scrap of the 4 inches pieces left over. Then I'm saying, what I'm going to do with it? And besides, another point is, if you want to get that out of that narrow strip out of the offcut side, the left side, then after every cut you have to move the fence to adjust to the thickness of the blade and plus the strips that you want to cut. But the saw blade is never a true, you know, right on the frictions of, you know, say 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes they are a little bit wider, sometimes they are a little bit narrower. So if you are just moving your fence at 1/8 of an inch every time, you're going to end up with every strip is different thickness, different width, you know. So which make the project looks a little bit different. So that's what I'm thinking. Well, if we can make those narrow strip in between the fence and the blade, number one, I don't have to move the fence. That means my cut is going to be always exactly the same width. And secondly is I don't have waste material, because I can virtually use up almost every single bit of the piece of wood that I was cutting. And of course now then, that is the initial thought when I was thinking about, you know, building the, you know, designing the grippers. And then, like I say earlier, you know, I just keep refining it. You know, now we have to think about, okay, now if we can fit this on both sides of the stocks, which means my finger is not going to be close to the blade at all, because I don't really use fingers to push the saw blade, the wood through the saw blade. So the gripper is actually pushing it all, and so that is also a safety, besides then saving the wood and getting every cut to be more precise, you know, because it is keeping the pressure against the fence. It does not allow the wood to, you know, dancing around between the fence and the blade, and it also, it got hold down on it, so it virtually eliminate the chance of the board actually get pushed up by the saw blade, you know. So the initial thought is how I'm going to get this thing done precisely and not wasting wood. That is my initial thought of when I start creating this, you know. Of course, now once we put all the things together, then, you know, then we get the safety aspect into this as well, because of how it functions and the material we choose to make this work, you know. And so that's how I initially come up with the idea of doing designing the grippers.